And the Republican member of the Judiciary Committee, Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana. Thank you very much, Senator, for being on this morning. And I'll start where we ended here, and that's about the hearings for William Barr as Attorney General. Do you think it's important that he recuses himself from the Russia probe, from the Russia investigation, in order to be an Attorney General that is acting within the realms of the law and our values?
Fair question. We haven't had the hearing yet, so I don't know if there would be grounds for his recusal. I don't think someone ought to be recused for having a point of view or a political belief. I think most of us who have a brain above a single-cell organism have points of view. The issue is not whether you have a point of view. The issue is whether you can divorce yourself from that point of view and follow the law. I'll give you a perfect example. I just listened to the interview with Amy. Amy is very smart. She's passionate about her points of view, some of which I agree with, some of which I don't. I wouldn't vote against Amy to be a federal judge or to be Attorney General just because of her point of view, if I happen to disagree with it, because I think she has enough integrity to divorce herself from her point of view and follow the law. And that's what I'm looking for from Bill Barr. I don't know him. I spent the weekend preparing questions. I want to get to know what's in his head, try to get to know what's in his heart. The recusal issue will come up. His relationship, or not just his, the Department of Justice's relationship with the president, the office of the presidency will come up. But there are a lot of other issues I want to talk to him about, too.
Obviously, a lot of issues that he'll be handling if he is Attorney General. Senator, let me ask you about the issue that concerns some of Mr. Barr's critics and some Democrats. That was the unsolicited 20-page memo he sent around to the president's lawyers and a lot of other people in Washington, D.C., talking about why he thought the Mueller investigation was improper. What questions do you have surrounding that memo? What questions might you ask him about sending that around?
Well, I'll probably ask him why he wrote the memo. I may ask him some questions about the finer points of it. The fact that he wrote the memo, Joe, doesn't bother me. I know it bothers some, but thinking people have points of view. You want him to have a point of view. If he's never thought about it, he's probably not qualified to be Attorney General. What I want to know is, number one, is he dogmatic, or is he willing to test his assumptions against the arguments of others? And number two, is he willing to follow the law? Does he believe in the rule of law? Is he willing to divorce his personal beliefs and follow the law in a case where the law instructs him to do otherwise than what he believes? Now, obviously, if you're so passionate in a belief and you can't follow the law, then you ought to quit. But that's the sort of thing I want to explore with him, and I want to talk about other issues. I want to talk about the indigent defense system in the United States. I want to talk about the Office of Professional Responsibility. Less exciting stuff than Mr. Mueller, but the Attorney General does more than just oversee special counsel.
But also, yeah, obviously extraordinary, a lot of extraordinarily important issues that go beyond just the Mueller investigation. That is, of course, though, the front of a lot of people's minds right now because of the concern that Donald Trump may have selected him just because of that memo. But he has said, Mr. Barr has said he believes it's important that the Mueller investigation runs through to the end. And I'm curious, do you believe that Mr. Barr or anybody who's the next Attorney General should make a commitment to the American people that Robert Mueller's investigation and the findings of that investigation should be made public, that it won't just sit in the Justice Department and put in a box like that scene at the end of Indiana Jones, that the American people need to know, and the Senate needs to know, and the House needs to know what Mr. Mueller found?
Yes, and that's probably an equally important issue. I mean, I talked about this 6 months ago. One can persuasively argue that Justice Department protocol is not to release a report like that. And I understand protocol, but there's nothing normal about this proceeding, and I feel very strongly that Mr. Mueller's final report needs to be released to the American people. I trust the American people to draw their own conclusions. I've said this before. The American people are plenty smart. They don't read Aristotle every day because they don't have time. But if you give them the facts, they'll figure it out and draw their own conclusions. And I don't want to see this report buried. I have no indication it will be buried, but I know the Justice Department has some rules about not revealing the results of investigations, which I think they ought to make an exception to in this instance.
Senator Rick Tyler, I have an opinion also about executive power, about the Mueller investigation, but I'm not the former AG, and I didn't write a 20-page memo and send it over to the Justice Department. Doesn't it concern you at all? Wouldn't there be a better choice that someone, that the next AG doesn't have this clear opinion about the power of the Mueller investigation? And does it not concern you that he auditioned for this job and Donald Trump picked him, probably based on this memo?
Well, first, you don't know why Donald Trump picked him, and nor do I. We can speculate, but neither one of us know. Point two, I understand fair-minded people disagree over this, but I want someone to have a point of view. If you've never thought about things, you're probably not qualified to be Attorney General. I've written law review articles before in which I've espoused a point of view. But if I were appointed Attorney General, I wouldn't be, and I don't aspire to be, or a federal judge, same thing. I would divorce myself from that point of view if the law suggested that I should do otherwise. And I think that's the real issue to me. The second issue is somebody a dogmatic person, or does he constantly question his assumptions? And does he test his assumptions against the arguments of others? I want somebody who's thought about the world, thought about politics, has a brain, understands the law, has integrity, has good judgment, and understands he's representing the American people.
And for those viewers watching right now that don't read Aristotle every day or haven't followed what Senator Kennedy has done since Donald Trump was inaugurated in January 2017, Senator Kennedy actually has held many Trump appointees up to
I appreciate that,
some
Joe.
very tough questioning. In fact, said that some weren't qualified to actually sit on the bench. So you would practice what you're preaching.
I don't know Bill Barr. I want to get to know him. If he turns out to be a meathead, I'll vote against him. But I'm not going to prejudge this.
Right.
Okay. That sounds good.
Yeah. No,
Senator John Kennedy, we could talk to you a lot longer, but we know you have to go into that hearing room. So good luck, enjoy. We look forward to hearing your reaction.